Welcome to Movies, Films, and Cinema Reels, the only podcast that is constantly asking, where's my burrito? Where's my burrito? Where's my burrito? My name is Eric, and today I'm joined by
Steven and Jonathan.
And today we're going to talk to you about a couple of movies.
And we're enthused.
The first film we're going to be discussing tonight is The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. The film is a 2007 Western drama written and directed by Andrew Dominik. The film is based on a Rob Hansen novel of the same name. The film is a dramatization of a relationship between Jesse James, played by Brad Pitt, and Robert Ford, played by
Casey Affleck.
Focusing on the events leading up to the assassination of Jesse James.
By the coward Robert Ford. Rob Ford.
Okay, so let's start right off the bat. I love the title of this movie.
Yes,
that
it's a long title.
Yeah, but it's very long, but I also like it.
I think that's different you never see that as really long titles in movies.
The synopsis is the title.
Like, they could have just called it The Assassination of Jesse James. The Assassination of Jesse James. But
right.
I like that.
They could have just called it Jesse.
Right. Most movies would do.
I looked it up, and there was actually a clause in Brad Pitt's contract that the title of the movie had to stay the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That must have been fun.
So Brad Pitt likes the same things that I like.
He likes independent stuff. That harsh, gritty stuff.
So Jonathan, you're the one who recommended us this movie.
Yeah.
Now tell us, why did you like this movie and want us to watch it?
I just thought it was a throwback of great Western movie that we don't see very often in today's modern
But you're
movies.
saying Western in the same sense of like the good, the bad, and the ugly?
Yes.
I didn't find it was similar to that.
It's not similar to that, but it's a Western. It
takes place in the West.
Yes, in Manitoba and Winnipeg and Calgary. I excuse myself there. And it's not like the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's much different. It's different paced. It's much more artistic, and I'd say very poetic too, in the sense of the relationship between Rob Ford and Casey and Jesse James. Yeah, no, there's something going on there. I mean, he admires Jesse James, and he's somewhat of his, he's an idol to him. And what's more romantic than if you can't have sex with your idol, you're gonna kill him? Think of it. Think of that.
And then sleep in his bed. Right. What I liked from this movie was the performances, especially by Casey Affleck. Mm-hmm. I thought he did a really good job of playing like a neurotic fanboy.
Yeah.
But also like someone who
he wants to be somebody. He just desperately wanted to be somebody. I think you can relate to that.
Yeah, I like the one line where he's like, "Do you want to be like me, or do you want to be me?"
That was Jesse James.
And he just like let it hang and ended the scene there. I thought that was cool. I found the weakest element of the film was the plot. And I'm not saying that the plot itself was weak. I'm just saying that the way that they went about explaining it and the way it was delivered, it felt very uninteresting. I got bored several times throughout the film.
Yeah, interest is obviously a hook to most audiences, but actually every audience. But the thing that hooks me in this is the tension in every scene of Jesse James. When he's around, there's always tension. He's impulsive. He's depressed. He's going through something that can't really be put in words, and he's a renowned thief. in an era that looks up to these people.
I found he was like Brad Pitt was just kind of sleepwalking through the scenes, kind of thing. Like there was a bit like he put on the accent. He was kind of maniacal in some scenes, but for a lot of it, I just found he was just Brad Pitt with an accent.
I disagree. I thought that this was one of his better roles. I know it's the accent. Okay, that was the big part, but even the movements, the physicality, and I know he's got Brad Pitt cool because he's Brad Pitt, but he's still acting in this movie. He's not. I don't think he's walking through it at all. I mean, he does some pretty hefty scenes, like the scene where he tries to slit. He acts out.
And that it's only in like the last 45 minutes where he's finally starting to do crazy stuff. Throughout the whole film, it just seems like he's walking from scene to scene, and you don't really know what he's thinking. And that's fine. That's the point. And that's fine for some scenes, but he's not. He's doing that for a lot of scenes.
I don't know. I thought that was a great build up to his eventual death and his
because even then he went crazy, but it's not like his craziness necessarily led to his death, right?
No, he was always toying with that. He was always risking himself playing with that, and I don't know. I thought it was a fascinating character overall.
Steven, from what you saw of it, what did you think?
Yeah, so I kind of quit the movie about halfway through because I was getting tired. I wasn't really enjoying myself too much watching the movie, I guess. I mean, I can acknowledge that the cinematography was really nice. I mean, visually, it's a very good-looking movie, like really well shot and things like that. You know, I thought the score was also pretty nice, and
Yeah,
the
Nick Cave.
Yeah.
We could talk about Nick Cave.
And yeah, the performances were good as well, but I just couldn't get past the ridiculously slow pace of the movie that was just not gripping me at any point. And I just, by the halfway point, I kind of gave up on the movie because I didn't even really feel interested in any of these characters or what they were doing. And so, yeah, I didn't really end up finishing the movie. It was way too slow paced, and yeah.
Well, they are petty thieves, but the thing is...
But they only have the one thief scene in the movie.
Right.
It's the train robbery.
Right,
That's
the train
it.
robbery.
Like,
But
at
that's
least if
the
they
whole-
would have had 2 or 3...
But I think that's the point. He doesn't want it to be a banal Western where that's all we see is
There was the
robberies.
one train scene in the beginning, and then they're all kind of quietly talking to each other throughout the rest of the film, and then it kind of finds its ending.
I don't understand why it's so hard to get people to pay attention to 2 people talking. I really don't.
Because it was also very uninteresting talk.
I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. The things they were saying weren't necessarily very interesting, and they were doing that thing where they take really long pauses in between each other's sentences.
Yeah, it felt like everyone was just like, okay, we're putting you in a period piece. We're trying to make you act to get your Oscar. So, do a really good monologue.
But none of
or
these
something.
guys won an Oscar.
I know, but it felt like almost a deliberate attempt for them to try and win an Oscar for this.
If you watch Andrew Dominik's films, they're usually not conventional in the sense they don't adapt to the Hollywood structure. And he's not doing this he's pretty genuine about what he does. He's not doing this for
But
Oscar
would you say that then it almost plays into an anti-Hollywood cliche of these long drawn out shots of landscapes, long pauses between people talking? I mean, this is something that a lot of these artsy movies
But if it's
do.
earnest, why is it an anti? If it's what he's doing, he's been doing all along. Why should that be cliche?
Because it feels well.
He's been doing it. He's been doing those movies for his whole career.
No, I'm just saying that even if you're trying to go for an anti-Hollywood angle with this, I mean, he's falling into his own kind of art house cinema cliche.
Well, Andrew Dominik directed Killing Them Softly and Chopper, from what I know, and they're not necessarily. I mean, they're not art house films. They're different. They're indie. They're more independent for sure, and they're not. I don't know if they're.
Was it just that this film was a biopic? Because I've noticed
It was a biopic.
Yeah, but I've noticed that when I watch biopics, I find myself not
Biopic.
interested in it. Biopic?
Biopic.
You guys say you say biopic?
I say biopic.
I think it's just another potato thing.
No one says potato though.
No, you're right about that.
People say potato are wrong.
No, but I say biopic. Okay. I think that's the problem with biopics, is that they try and stay so...
I can't get past it. Derailed like the train from the first sequence of the movie.
I think that's the problem with biopics, is that they have a hard time gripping you because they're trying to stay so faithful to the source material, and at times the plot could be kind of disjointed because they're trying to just hit all the most interesting factual scenes. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, I find it doesn't follow a conventional 3-act structure, and while that might be a good thing for some movies to get away from that, I felt in this movie it didn't work because I was just bored throughout. Nothing was gripping me. There was no part where I was like, oh, I really need to watch this. There were scenes where, again, the scene where Brad Pitt has the knife to the guy's throat,
right.
I'm like, okay, I'm really gripped here.
The train robbery.
The train robbery scene, those scenes like that had me hooked, but it didn't feel like the whole movie was taking me on a ride. It just felt like I was watching a collection of scenes spread out throughout the movie that interest me. There are big acting scenes, and then less interesting scenes.
I thought the less interesting scenes were just as important because it's not I know there's not a lot of dialogue, there's not a lot of action going through it, but all those things that they do and the scenery they're trapped in is kind of is the movie. It's what they're trying to portray. He's in they're in this massive land where there's not many inhabitants, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just begging for someone to
do
something, right?
The fire rises.
I was waiting for this movie to do something.
But it did. You got up to the whole end of the story, and it gets...
I have to pause in the middle, take a break, go do something else, and come back.
You have to breathe a little.
Yeah.
I took a break by playing South Park: The Stick of Truth, which is a game I really recommend if you like Paper Mario and RPGs like that. And then I never went back to the movie.
So all in all, play Stick of Truth. Good night, folks.
No, guys. In all honesty, I thought it was a gripping movie. It's to me it's one of my favorite movies of the 21st century. I say I'm putting it out there. It was one of my favorites of the 21st century. I know you're biting your lips and you're trying to hold your tongue.
It wasn't even the favorite thing I watched last Friday.
You are entitled to your opinion.
Well, and my opinion is not wrong.
I think I really disagree with your opinion.
In fact, we will now fight you
To the death.
to determine whose opinion is right.
Battle Royale.
The most interesting thing you could do on a
I demand a trial by combat.
The most interesting thing you could do on a podcast is like fight someone. It's the best medium for it.
Indeed, it is.
What else? Oh, the soundtrack film.
Yeah, the soundtrack. Let's talk about the soundtrack. I thought that was also a beautiful.
Okay, so you guys are definitely into music a lot more than I am.
Yeah,
So
Nick Cave.
Nick Cave, you guys listen to his other work, right?
I haven't.
I've dabbled.
I've seen him live, and like Steven, I've dabbled through his work.
Is his music similar to what was in this movie?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Really fine.
You don't find?
Well, I find. Yeah, maybe. Well, because for me, I guess his voice is such a big part
Yeah.
of his music, so I might not initially draw like that kind of connection. But yeah, I guess instrumentally there were some similarities, like the string, like these kind of like low string instruments.
I thought it was
things
beautiful,
like
beautiful score.
Yeah.
Even Roger. We didn't speak about Roger Deakins' cinematography.
Well, we did say
he's
the
like,
cinematography was
he's
really
like
good.
an A-list cinematographer, so it's not surprising that it looks pretty. He's worked on countless.
I definitely think, like Steven said, the best scene was the train scene, where the train is
when he's coming up and
all the guys are in the shadow.
Yeah.
You have the smoke. You
Yeah,
have
that was one
Brad
of the
Pitt
best
like
shots.
walking with the light behind him. You have
That
the
was-
light illuminating all the guys in the trees.
That
Yeah,
was
again, a
definitely
shot like this, like
very
definitely kind of pushing this idea of Jesse James as this like mythical figure.
Exactly. It's great.
See, I got the movie.
Steven,
I understood it.
You had to finish it. That's not the point. What did you think about the death scene? I thought that was a great
The ending?
scene. No, well, not necessarily.
Well-
no, not that ending. No, not that scene. Rob Ford finally pulling the trigger.
I thought that was good.
I thought that was a heart wrenching scene. I mean, he's looking. He knew he was coming. Like he was looking. In the,
I think I was confused by the plot. Do you know why Jesse James just gave up at that point?
because he didn't really want to kill. He's not going to kill him in his house. I guess with his family there. Why would I want to?
Because he read the paper or something.
Yeah, he
right?
read the paper of the other guys getting arrested.
Dick Little?
Yeah, Dick Little and the rest of the guys who either got arrested or dead are dead. And he knew something. They were involved with those guys, and so something is up. So now he like I said, he's in really like he kind of wants to die throughout the movie. If you look through it, like he talks about it. The narrator speaks a lot about that.
Yeah.
And
I wish the narrator was someone in the movie though. It would have felt good to hear from a character's point of view rather than just an
like in
omniscient point of
Goodfellas,
view.
like in Goodfellas, where
Yeah.
Leota doing
Yeah,
Henry's and
I could tell you that Goodfellas is oversaturated.
we're not going to talk about Goodfellas. We'll say that for another podcast.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
rather than having an omniscient narrator, I would have preferred if it was either Jesse James or Rob Ford. So that way I could maybe feel more attached to a certain character.
Or
I still
whoever the heck
felt
Jeremy
that.
Renner was playing.
He was playing the cousin of Jesse James.
And Sam Rockwell.
And Sam Rockwell.
love that guy.
It was just
He
an
was
all-star
really
cast. Yeah, it was an all-star cast, really. And so those two characters, they were going to get killed. So they thought they were going to get killed. So they had no choice but to eventually kill him. So they didn't know what to do with him. He's like I said, he's very impulsive. He's unpredictable. He's depressed. He's
And didn't he work out something with the police that he had to kill him?
I don't recall that.
Like, you know when he goes into the ball or something, and it's the scene where he confronts Michael Parks.
Oh yeah, but that wasn't Jesse. That was Rob Ford.
Right, but
Yeah,
he goes
okay.
in and he talks to him. He's like, you have to kill him.
they have to kill. Yeah, that's right. They
that's why.
conspired to do that. So I thought that was a heart wrenching scene when just even the way it was shot, he just splattered his head on the frame, and then his wife came in, and it was an accident. They had to lie about it.
Yeah.
It was pretty heavy. I thought it was a moving shot.
I think what was good about that scene is it didn't just end there with them walking away.
No,
it continued to the aftermath, which is the coward Rob Ford.
Right.
Like, that's how he gets his part in the story.
And he reenacts that play over and over again. And that was also, I think, a pretty moving part of the play. Where
I'm like, oh, that's a very interesting way to extend it.
He wanted to be an illustrious, cowboy or,
And he thought he would be praised because he killed Jesse James.
Instead, he realized that he wanted to be someone so badly, and Jesse James was somebody to everybody. He was some sort of mythical creature, and
Mythical creature. He's not a unicorn.
well, he's not a unicorn. But let's just say
Inspiring
he was
figure.
very
I am the
inspiring.
dragon.
He had influential power, and everyone respected him. Imagine a criminal who
Yeah.
people loved, and
But he stole from
the rich and gave to the poor. Yeah,
Wait,
that's
again,
the thing.
okay, so I wasn't getting this in the part of the movie I saw, but at any point did they actually kind of establish why Jesse James was so famous or revered? Because I think the movie picks up like towards the end of his kind of criminal career.
yeah, it is. It starts is the days leading up to his assassination.
Yeah, so I don't know, was it intentional? Like, I don't know, did the movie really indicate why he was so revered, or was it, because that's one of the things, the movie just starts off at this point where it's already kind of forces you to assume that
They
Jesse
don't really
James
say
is
it,
this
though.
amazing person.
They don't say it. They just let it, like, through the pictures, like I said. If you pay attention, you kind of see the way he carries himself, the way he is. It's these little nuances that make his...
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not really familiar with the history of Jesse James, like, as a person. Maybe, I don't know, he's more of... and yeah, I don't know. I'm not really familiar with Jesse James as a person, so maybe that was something I kind of missed out on, because the movie doesn't really work very hard to establish why he's this important figure.
I like
Yeah,
it.
I think in a lot of ways you're told what to think about him rather than shown. Because you don't see him really giving back to the poor.
But yeah, you're right. You don't see him giving back to the poor. But the thing is, I disagree with that, because I feel, I don't know. Well, I was going to get to this, but the Rob Ford assassination, I thought that also had an impact on me. I think you're able to relate to both characters, especially
Yeah.
Rob Ford, because he wanted to be somebody so bad.
Yeah, I think that
we all idolize people, whether we like it or not, and. It was heartbreaking to just see he died as nobody. Nobody went to his wake. That ending was also pretty harsh, you know. Nobody went to his wake. Nobody respected him. Everyone thought of him as a coward, and he basically died of nobody.
You know what's interesting?
Well, he didn't die of nobody because he was known for
Just now, I'm kind of
cowards.
relating it to the end of Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
You know when he goes to kill Marlon
Yeah,
Brando?
when Marlon Brando kind of
And
wants
Marlon
to
Brando,
die.
yeah, he wants to die. Marlon Brando is this really revered character.
Right,
And-
Colonel Kurtz.
Kurtz.
Lieutenant Kurtz, yeah. Colonel, yeah, Colonel Kurtz.
Something Kurtz.
I
Kurtz.
forget.
Kurtz.
I forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when he kills him, Martin Sheen just leaves.
Right.
But I think it would have been interesting. Like this film almost feels like what would happen if you would see like the next couple days living in Martin Sheen's life.
Okay.
Like he would probably feel so much regret for what he's done and like taken away his
I thought, well, again, we'll do Apocalypse Now another time, but
I think there's definitely a similarity though. Is my point that I'm trying to make.
I guess you could say that. I'm not going to disagree with that. Yeah, I'd probably say that along those lines. But what did I want to add to Rob Ford? So his death. I thought his death, like I said, was it was very impactful on me because I think it's so relatable. Everyone looks at him as a coward, but you know he kind of no one was in his shoes, and they didn't know what he went through. He didn't know what he had to do in order to survive and achieve his goal of being somebody.
Yeah.
So it's kind of dark too. It's very dark. And that's our thoughts on the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Rob Ford.